All right, hello and welcome to this live webinar. I'm going to get my screen sharing here. We are going to be looking at how to power up your LifterLMS course with forms. Integrating forms into an online course or learning-based membership site can be used for many purposes. And in this webinar, I'm actually going to demo what it's like to use LifterLMS with the 4 form integrations we offer. We've had Gravity Forms for a while. We just released a major overhaul to that integration. And then we've added 3 new ones: Ninja Forms, WPForms, and Formidable Forms. And we're going to get into that. But first, just an orientation. I always like to go over at the beginning. If you have questions, feel free to use the Q&A box here in Zoom. I'm going to go through this presentation and then we'll dive into questions. If you're watching this on Facebook, you can leave a comment below the Facebook and we'll check in on those as well. If you want to jump over here into the live webinar, there's a link on how to do that, so you can register real quick and jump in if you want to join us. Also, there's a feature here in Zoom where you can raise your hand if you want to talk live. We're always happy to do that. So if you have questions and would prefer to talk rather than type, just raise your hand, and then once we get to the end of the presentation, I'll start with the hands that are up and then get to the Q&A box. We're also, at the end of this, going to be giving away 2 surprise high-value bonuses. So stick around to the end, and we'll be giving those away. But so just to kind of jump right into it, what is a form for? So there's, every site we're pretty familiar with a contact form, but what does a form actually do? This is a foundational principle that's really important to get in touch with if you're going to explore the options that are possible with forms, because they can be very powerful and used for a lot more than just a traditional contact form. So forms are for collecting and sending data in many forms, no pun intended. But there's a lot you can do besides just sending a message, like in a contact form where you collect an email address and a message, basically. And I'm going to get into some really specific examples. So I want to just get really clear, though, that contact and conversation is really powerful, especially in a learning management system site, a training site, a coaching site, a course site. Making it easy for prospective students to contact you, or for active students to contact the teacher, the coach, the tutor, whoever. Contact forms are very important, and you can collect a lot of information besides just the message. But I want to encourage you to think bigger than a contact form. And before we get into some specific examples of what's possible beyond the contact form, there's really 3 kind of main features that rolled out with the LifterLMS form integrations that just rolled out recently. So the first thing is that you can install a form into a lesson and make it required or optional, but you have the option to make it required that they have to fill out the form in order to complete that lesson. And there are lots of different ways that you could use that, and we'll get into that in the next slide here. The other really powerful thing, and this just comes from listening to our community here at LifterLMS, is people want to build custom registration forms for their platforms. So that's not super sexy and like filling out forms to join a site, but it actually is pretty cool. What Lifter gives you out of the box, Lifter has its own registration with options that you can turn on and turn off. That's first name, last name, email address, choose your password, your physical address. You can turn some or all of those on, but sometimes people want to collect a lot more than just that whenever somebody signs up on their site. So It's been a feature request from the LifterLMS community for quite a while. We're always listening. And the ability to create a custom registration through a form plugin is now possible. And also, in terms of learning management system style platforms, one of the things that puts the M in management is a coherent way to like stay organized. Like, there's one thing to have like a membership site that has a bunch of content behind the paywall, but you know, a proper course structure and proper reporting is very important. So when your platform scales, like if you get a lot of students, I mean, I know Lifter sites that have tens of thousands of people in there, you need a coherent way to access the data of these form entries. So we've integrated the what people do with the forms, what they pass through the forms into the LMS reporting so that you can access it when you're looking at an individual and not have to go hunt for it in another place. So this next slide, maybe take a screenshot of it and just think about it. Like if I was going to give you homework before like picking your form plugin or thinking about what's different, I would encourage you to think about these possible use cases of using a form plugin inside your LMS. What could you do with a form besides just a simple contact form? So I sat for about 20 minutes and came up with these, but this is by no means an exhaustive list. But these are some ways that I just came up with that you could use forms. So custom registration forms, which we're going to show you in a little bit. You know, you may want to collect employer information or other demographic information, or maybe your course also comes with some kind of products that have variable options like sizes or colors, and you want to like collect that or their t-shirt size or whatever. There's all kinds of reasons to do a custom registration. You could collect a signature on a legal document, you know, where they have to actually like sign on the screen to agree to something like before they start the course. You could request uploads. That could be a photo, it could be a video, it could be a PDF of something, it could be an audio file. Requesting uploads from a lesson is kind of a classic use case for forms. So that's an example of where data can take on many forms, passing back and forth. It's not necessarily just words or a message, it can be files. A virtual or live event registration. So if, as part of your training, you run webinars that people need to register for, or you have like in-person, like I know of some membership sites that have like, you know, they have the membership, it's got these benefits, it has a bunch of courses in it. And then also as part of the membership, you get access to 2 live events a year, in-person events, or more favorable pricing on them. So you can have it so people inside, you know, sign up for those live events. You could collect testimonials on like your last lesson if you wanted to. You could collect feedback as a student goes through the course. And we have an example of that we're going to show you in a little bit about how useful a particular lesson was. Making sure that your content is working and you know, people are understanding what you're trying to teach and getting results. Feedback is a very important part of the process, and forms help you open up that feedback loop. You can also do star ratings. So if you want people to like rate something on, you know, give it like 1 to 5 stars, you can do that with forms. Teacher or coach contact. So you could have a contact form that just rides inside the lesson content if somebody wants to ask for help privately as opposed to publicly in the comments below the lesson. And maybe for different courses, the forms point to different teachers or different coaches. There's lots of different ways to build you know, a contact flow of how you want the conversations to go. You could even sell products from within lessons. I know that sounds kind of wild, but you can, with these form plugins, they have their own payment systems. And let's say as part of lesson 1, you have to buy like some piece of technology equipment that you offer. You know, they're taking the course. Let's say it's a free course, but now they're in lesson 5, and now they need to get some stuff that you offer. You can have an order form in order to complete that lesson. Sending data to a CRM or marketing automation tools. So the contact forms can be used to pass data to, you know, mailing list places and marketing automation places like ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, and so on. And even, well, I mentioned down at the bottom, all these form plugins have their own Zapier integration. So if you wanted to be able to connect to 1,000+ other apps, you know, and send data through the pipe that is Zapier, you can do that by working with the form. You can also do polls. You can do surveys. You can do coaching assessments. So I talk a lot about the stack of course plus coaching plus community. If part of your coaching is you want people to submit a form and so that you can collect a bunch of data points, because not everybody in your course is exactly the same, and you may want to personalize the coaching. That's a lot easier to do and prepare for if you are collecting form submissions in advance. So that's what a coaching assessment is. And as I mentioned, community, mini mastermind group formation. This is a cool concept that I've seen in some course-based membership sites where when people first get started, there's a form that people fill out so that the person managing the website can create like small groups of like 3 to 8 people that, you know, have a weekly mastermind huddle as they go through the course. So I could talk more about that, but that's just a basic, you know, mastermind organization within a training program. Teacher, tutor, or coach contact forms, and like we mentioned, Zapier. And then I added front-end posting and more. So with form plugins, you can actually collect data on the front end of your website because, you know, they're in the course, but they're not in the back end in the WordPress area. And you can have them submitting all this, your people submitting data. And these form solutions also have a way to post data that comes through to somewhere else on the front end of the website. You know, an example would be, let's say you have some kind of membership that has courses in it, and you're using something like Gravity, and you're collecting data through a form where the person is actually populating a directory on the front-facing website. That's a really specific example, but if you explore these different form plugins and what they offer for front-end posting, that kind of opens up a whole world. So I would encourage you to think about all the different ways that you could use forms. I'm not saying that necessarily all these are, you know, necessary and essential, but whatever pieces make sense for you to make your coach more, your course or your membership more effective, help people get better results, have it be more personal, and just overall make your platform stronger. These are a lot of ways to do that. And if you think of a way to use a form that I haven't mentioned here, I'd love to hear about it in the chat, or post it in the Facebook group. If you're not in our Facebook group, we'll put a link in the chat to go join. Whenever we develop an integration like this with these 4 form add-ons, the next question is going to be, well, which one do you recommend? I would encourage you to ask that question to the Facebook group and see what they say, because people have lots of different experience with different form add-ons. So the next step is really to choose your form tool. So the 4 that we have the deep integration with are Ninja Forms, WPForms, Gravity Forms, and Formidable Forms. And we're actually going to do a live demo on this call of all 4. So I'm going to do a demo here of WPForms first. So let me just get that ready. Okay, you can see I've got a sample site up here, simple site using the Astra theme. And this is the buying experience of a logged out user buying the Yoga Mom Bootcamp for $1,000. Now, this is a custom registration form right here. And bear with me because I'm a slow typer. Sarah Fox is going to buy this course. So we have a custom registration here. In this case, the course also comes with a yoga mat, and the teacher, for whatever reason, wanted to know how many children, the people registering have. So that we're getting Sarah Fox has three kids, wants a purple yoga mat, and we're gonna need to ship that yoga mat to Beverly Hills, California, 90210. And that's $1,000 course plus yoga mat stack. And you can see here on the second step of the checkout, we've got Stripe, the LifterLMS Stripe add-on installed. We're actually in test mode, so this isn't a real credit card, but we're gonna go ahead and buy that for WPForms or through the Lifter credit card checkout via Stripe. And boom, we're inside the course. And you can see our lessons there. And I'm actually going to show you the last lesson where we have this form set up. So this is basically a feedback form. Which department do you have a suggestion for? And there's those ratings, those 5 stars. So we're using WPForms here. You can see in the bottom right. So Sarah has some feedback for the sales department. She's saying it was an amazing course and it was underpriced. So just by having this feedback form here, the course creator is getting some valuable feedback and potentially a testimonial to make things better. So the form gets submitted, and that's that. We're going to go into the back end. Now we're back in the WordPress administration view. We're going to look at the settings real quick. Over here on the integrations, you can see we have the LifterLMS WPForms installed and enabled. You can kind of see the different options here. Here's the global setting on requiring them, and we're telling it, yes, we do want it to use a custom registration form. And now let's take a look at the reporting. So Sarah, so this is the site owner looking at Sarah Fox. You can see when we're jumping into the course. And you can see down in here where the form was submitted. And, oops, hold on a sec. One second, I'm just going to reset my slide there. I'll have that back in just a second. Get the screen share back. And let's see if I can get that going again. There we are. So, Allie, if you could just jump on for a second, let me know if you can see my screen again.
I can.
Thank you. So we're just looking at the entries on this form, and you can see where Sarah left her her feedback. And then, all the form plugins, work and look a little bit differently. Essentially, the functionality is almost identical, but there are various nuances to the difference. They'll have a different building experience. So you can see here where we created the yoga mat color options, and we're just adding another one right there. So this is what it's like to build a form in WPForms, where we were kind of messing with the custom user registration. And then here we're looking at the feedback form, and you can see where we've got the 5-star rating and then a basic subject matter there. And just to be clear, with all these form integrations, you still need to get your own copy of WPForms, and they have their own plans where, for example, you need WPForms Pro to get access to the user registration add-on they have, which you'll need for this to work. So they all have notification settings. You can do all kinds of stuff. A lot of people with forms, people like the email notifications to go to somebody specific. You can see this is a great thing about WPForms. They've got some pre-built forms are already kind of put together, but you can always build from scratch. So that's what WPForms is all about. And that's available in our store. It's currently on sale while we're just releasing this through the end of this week. But most people are probably going to get access to it via either the Universe Bundle or Infinity Bundle. But you can buy it by itself if you are interested in that. So now we're going to look at Ninja Forms. So this is going to be a little bit repetitive because we're going to show the same process, but you're going to see how the form builders are a little different. So we're going to buy the course, and you can see how they look a little different. So if you like the look of this form that Martha's filling out, maybe it's how the form looks is how you make your choice for which form add-on to use or integration. But I'd also encourage you to go look at the Ninja Forms website, the WPForms website, the Gravity Forms, and the Formidable websites to see what their various add-ons that they offer are. So the LifterLMS integration essentially allows you to do cool stuff like this, like we're building a custom registration into the LifterLMS checkout or registration flow. You still need to have your own Ninja Forms in this case. And Ninja has a free version of their form plugin if you just want to try it out. So does WPForms has a free version as well as Formidable, and then they have paid add-ons. Gravity Forms is all paid. So they have various plan levels that come with different amounts of extra stuff. So Martha's buying the Yoga Mom Bootcamp course here. And we're in, and in this case, we're going to go into the sleeping baby lesson. So we've got a video lesson here. On a scale of 1 to 10, how flexible are you? And you can see the Mark Complete button is not there. I have to complete this form in order to complete the lesson. So I'm going to submit my lesson, or submit my flexibility, and that's that. And now we're jumping back over here into the WordPress dashboard and going into the reporting. And you can see there's Martha right there. And if we click on her courses, you see Martha Fox. Click on the Yoga Mom Bootcamp. We can see in the reporting, we can view, you can see that column over there on the sleeping baby lesson where there's a form entry. So this is where we can take a look and see that her entry, and we got the feedback here. And you can see how we could actually change this if we wanted to. So not that we want to make her more flexible, but the way you can do stuff with these, it all works a little bit different. So I'll show you another example of that with one of the other form add-ons in a little bit. So if you go into the integrations, and you got to make sure it's installed and enabled, but we've got LifterLMS Ninja Forms here, and you can see where we use the custom registration form setting. And you can see Lifter has these other areas which you can access with the form. So there's the registration checkout. They can also like change their name, like if they misspelled it on the checkout update form, and then the open registration form if you allow people to register without buying or enrolling anything. And then the other one was for people to update their details inside their account as a logged in user. So that's why there's those different areas. So here we are looking at the Ninja Forms form builder. This is a drop down, a select option, and then we've got the submit there, but here's all this other stuff we could add. So you can see how they all work a little bit differently. So if we wanted to not just ask them how flexible they were, but wanted to ask for some subjective feedback, we could do that. There we are making that required. So how was that sleeping baby yoga pose? And there's our register user form. And you can see, so we kind of built the same registration form with the different form tools. So if one of these looks easier to you or makes sense better, then maybe that's the form tool for you. Allie, is my voice getting a little choppy?
It was a little bit, but it sounds good right now.
Cool, we'll go with it. Stress testing the limits. So this is Ninja Forms integration on the add-on on our website. You can pick that up on its own while it's currently on sale for 25% off, or you can get access to it via either the Universe Bundle or the Infinity Bundle. So I'm going to move on here. Let's look at Gravity. Gravity's been around for a while. I think it was one of the earlier premium form plugins for WordPress, so it's been around for a bit. And we're going to go buy the Yoga Mom Bootcamp again. And $1,000. And this time, here's what the Gravity registration form looks like. So this is Freya Smith. And Freya is also from Beverly Hills. And we are going to be releasing these as like separate smaller videos, kind of talking through the different form add-ons. So if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, I would encourage you to do that. We'll also be posting those in the Facebook group. So there's Freya. This is that account or checkout update form, by the way. So Freya, you know, if she noticed she spelled her last name wrong and she wanted to look right on her certificate, she could update the form here. And we're going to buy it. And in this case, we're going to go into the routine. So in this case, we have some radio buttons. How easy was it to find time for yoga today? I was able to squeeze in one pose. So we're submitting our feedback there. And now we're switching back to the WordPress admin view of everything of what just happened. So if we jump over into the LifterLMS reporting and we look at Freya, you can see the entry right there, the WPForms entry column for Freya. And if we take a look at that entry, this is what it looks like inside WPForms. So you could add notes. So there's something that's, you know, a little different. Forms also have notifications. You can see on the right where you can resend notifications if you want to. And then just looking at the integrations panel, depending upon what these forms have available to work with, you know, these areas are slightly different, but essentially they all do those same things of requiring forms for lessons, making custom user registration possible, and getting data, the form entries into the LMS reporting. WPForms has that nice little dashboard. And you can see here, there's that question with the radio buttons. You can see I could add another one if I wanted to. And make it required. Like fields within some fields within a form can be required while others are optional, or you can make them all required. It's really up to you. And then looking at the registration form, you know, with WPForms, you can just add stuff from the left-hand side there. Standard fields, advanced fields, post fields. Another example of posting is like you can have a form that actually posts to the blog as an example. So, but that's WPForms. It's been around for a while as part of the LifterLMS community, but it's available by itself, or you can get it as part of the Universe bundle or the Infinity bundle. And you do need your own, you know, WPForms license from WPForms to do all this. This is our integration right here. That's what our add-on for Gravity does. It makes the two tools work together. So we're going to go to our last one. Thanks. I know this is a little repetitive, but I think it's important to look at how they each work and look just slightly differently so you can make the best decision for yourself. So this is Formidable Forms, which also has a free version. So you can go play with the Formidable WPForms and Ninja Forms free versions if you want, and test them out, see which one you like the best. So this is the Formidable user registration. And we've got Sarah Fox. And if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the Q&A box. And same thing, we've got our Stripe in test mode. You can see this website, if you look closely, it actually doesn't have SSL set up. So just FYI, you can't have a live site without SSL with Stripe. You need to have that HTTPS for that to work with Stripe. So we've got it in test mode because we're on a non-SSL site. We're in. And we're going to jump into the feedback lesson. And this one, I think this is actually the, my apologies, this is the incorrect video. So let me get the correct one up here. Just give me one moment. That's showing WPForms. It wouldn't be a webinar without a few of these issues. So let me make sure I got the right one here. Okay, we're back. Allie, if you could just confirm for me that we're seeing the screen.
Yep, we see it.
Cool. So this is Formidable. And I had the wrong video on the slide there. So this is what the Formidable user registration looks like. So we've got Pari Acharya. And that little password thing that's just something I have on my computer. That's not part of Lifter, where it's, trying to help me remember my passwords. And we're going through our checkout process. So Gravity Forms, remember, is all premium. Ninja, WPForms, and Formidable, you need to have their paid version to get access to be able to edit users like this. So just keep that in mind. All right, Pari is checking out. She's buying the course. And we're going into the mindset lesson. So can you explain in 4 sentences or less how you get into the mood to do yoga? I turn off my phone. I meditate. I'm going to expand this area. Whenever you see that on a paragraph text area, you can make it bigger if you want. Close my eyes. I put my hands together and smile. And we're going to submit that. You notice how the mark complete button is not there. So that completes that lesson. Now, if we go into the reporting, you can see here where Pari she's in the analytics, she's in this course. And if we look at the Yoga Mom Bootcamp course for Pari, you can see the Formidable Forms entry column. And we can see her entry right here. And you can see you can also add comments and notes with Formidable. And they have some other stuff there on the side. You can even see the IP address and what browser they were using and all that. So that's what that looks like in the back end with Formidable. And you know, these form add-ons, they have a lot of other features. I'm just really like scratching the surface of what's possible with these form plugins just for these specific use cases. But hopefully you're getting a sense for how powerful forms can be on a WordPress website. So similar settings panel to the other ones. And let's look what the form builder looks like in Formidable. So there's the mindset question we had, and you can see all the stuff on the right. You can duplicate, you can delete. Look, you have all these different tools. I like this little layout builder that Formidable has. And you got all that stuff on the right side that you could add to a form. And if we look at our user registration form, you can see all these different stuff. Radio buttons, paragraphs, captcha fields, dates, addresses, toggles, stars, a certain time of day. You can put all kinds of stuff in there. So that's Formidable. And that is in the LifterLMS store, which you can get individually or get it as part of the Infinity Bundle or Universe Bundle. Third-party integration add-ons like this are part of the Universe Bundle. And of course, anything in the Universe Bundle is also included in the Infinity Bundle, plus the LifterLMS Advanced add-ons are in the Infinity Bundle. So questions, drop them in the box. I'm almost done with my presentation. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a second and get back to my slides. Just give me one moment. And Allie, if you could confirm for me, we got the slides back up.
Yes. Which form tool is right for me?
Perfect. So there's not a right answer for this. If you're already used to one of these, just keep going with it. That would be my advice. Ninja, WPForms, and Formidable all have free plugins that are quite powerful in their own right if you want to kind of try them out. And Gravity is all premium. But if you do want to do the LifterLMS custom registration, you're going to need paid versions of whichever one of these you decide to use for that functionality to come together for you. I don't have a personal favorite. I've been using Gravity Forms for a long time, but that's just the one that I started using a long time ago. I've done recently I've been doing some projects in Ninja Forms. I really enjoyed getting to know WPForms and Formidable and building this demonstration for you guys. So there's really not, I'm just sharing my experience, but if you want to ask and put it out to poll, I would encourage you to ask in the LifterLMS Facebook group, hey, what form plugins do you like? Or if you're a member of another Facebook group that has that is related to WordPress, you can ask over there. But there's more than these form add-ons out here, but we went with these. They're solid. They're known for having good support, quality reputation. They had the user registration stuff that we needed and were easy to work with from a development perspective to make a nice integration for you. So the answer is, which one is right for you? It depends. So try them out and ask around. So once you decide, you can invest in on the Lifter side, the integration add-on, LifterLMS form add-on of your choice. You can get it by itself or you can get it via either bundle, the Universe bundle or the Infinity Bundle. If you already have one of these bundles and you're on this call, it's already sitting inside your account on the LifterLMS.com website. We'll put a link in the chat of where to go get your copy of this form add-on if you're ready to start using it and you didn't realize you had it yet. So that's one of the benefits of the bundles. As we release new products, you just get instant access to them. So check that out, and I'm ready for questions. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and see if anybody has got your hand up. Please raise your hand if you'd like to talk live. I'll also be checking the Q&A box and Facebook as well. So let me come out of there and take a look. Does anybody have their hand up? I don't see any hands up. That is okay. So I'm going to go to the Q&A box, and we'll start there. If somebody wants to raise your hand and chat live, I'd be happy to do it. I'll keep checking back. So yep, Tim, I see your questions there, Tim. He was asking about the signature add-on. That's a cool add-on. I know WPForms has it. I would check the other ones to see if they have it, but yeah, it basically puts a box on the screen where you know, people have to, like, with their mouse on their computer or with their finger, they have to, if on a phone, they have to like actually sign their signature into the submission. So Peter asks about a mini mastermind group formation. Can you explain how you would do this? So in the context of the form plugin, or using a form to facilitate that, I was mostly saying that you could, let's say, in an introductory section of your course, you could have a lesson where you collect details about where a person is at and what their goals are. And based on your ability as you know, someone who facilitates social learning environments, you could form small groups that could then, you know, meet on your Zoom account, you know, or have a, you know, a scheduled call time or something like that. Because part of social learning is people learning together, and a mastermind group call can be a part of that. And if the group's too big, like if it's just everybody in your platform and you have tens of thousands of people or something, then it's unmanageable from a mastermind perspective. It's more of just like a mass webinar group coaching call. But if you want to intentionally set in motion to have like small groups of people moving through the course at the same time with regularly scheduled calls that they have with each other, that's what I was talking about there. Mary asks, can you see all responses from multiple students, or do you have to look student by student? And the way our integration works from the reporting, you kind of come at it from the student side. But you'd want to, you'd really need to explore in depth the form tool. Like, I'm just thinking in my head of ways that I can make that possible. You know, for example, with the gravity forms, I'm not sure how some of the polling stuff works with those different ones, but I'm sure they're aggregating the data. You know, through Zapier, you could post form information into a spreadsheet, like a Google Sheet or something like that. So yes, it's possible, but you'd really have to get into the, you know, roll up the sleeves and get into it to find, to see exactly what the options are there, because the different plugins might do it differently. I just haven't looked at that specific one myself, so I can't hazard a guess. But that is a good question. I would encourage you, if you have a form tool that you're kind of leaning towards, to run that by that form company itself to see if they have kind of the aggregated results, or if it's possible for certain types of forms. Diane asks, A question posted in chat is interesting to me too. Can you see? Oh, same question from Diane. Yeah, so we'll have to explore that. So if we have anybody who would like to talk live, feel free to raise your hand. If not, that is okay. And Kathy, I'm going to check our Slack. Do we have anything from the Facebooks at this time? Timothy's got his hand up. I'll check back on Facebook in a second. Timothy, I'm going to bring you up.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can. How's it going?
Hey, Chris. So I was using Gravity Forms for a while, and then with the new update to 2.0, I noticed you guys stopped the Autogenerate. What's it called? Moving to the next lesson automatically is what I'm trying to say. You stopped that feature in Gravity Forms. And so I had to revert back to that Gravity Forms 1.03. And I was just wondering, do you think that's going to be a problem? Because I really like that feature in Gravity Forms, so I didn't want to update to 2.0. But do you think in the future that's going to be a problem that I'm using an outdated version of Gravity Forms?
That's a good question. I mean, in most cases, you kind of want to stay current with the tool. But you're saying that was it a feature in Lifter or a feature in Gravity Forms?
It's LifterLMS Gravity Forms plugin has the option where after you submit the form, it will automatically direct you to the next lesson in the course. And you guys got rid of that feature for the new update on 2.0. And that actually worked like so perfectly on my website. Like I loved how they could just click the form and then boom, they'd right on to the next lesson. And so because that worked so smoothly and I never had any problems, never had any glitches, I had to revert back. But I'm just worried that maybe in a year from now that, specific 1.03 won't work with when I update LifterLMS like in a year from now. And then I'm not going to know what to do,
Yeah, that's a good question. I would put that in the chat, or we'll put a link in the chat for the feature request page to ask about that. I'm sure there's a reason behind that. Like, for example, I know some Gravity Forms like display results after the submission that people were not getting to see because it was moving on without them. But I'm not exactly sure what was going on there. But
I did talk to it's Thomas, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I did talk to Thomas just slightly about it, and he said that it was causing glitches for a lot of people and headaches, and so they took the feature off. But for me, there were never any glitches. It was actually working just perfectly. I don't know. So I guess for other people, they didn't have nearly as much success with it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll look into that. Thanks for bringing that up. Sorry I don't have like a hard, fast answer. I mean,
it's all good.
Yeah, sometimes you can keep an older version of something going, but I wouldn't do it for too long.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, that in a year from now, I'm going to have to make a decision as to how I'm going to make things work. But I guess for now, it'll be okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Thanks for the question.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm just going to scan the chat here. And Kathy, let me know if we have anything from Facebook. So there was, Tim was asking from Facebook on how to use Gravity Forms in the enrollment section. So I think we covered that in the video, and we will be releasing like an individual video and more documentation for just Gravity. So that will come together. You do need the Gravity Forms user registration add-on for that. So if you're using WooCommerce for checkout, I can probably not use the checkout form, but the other instances will work. Yes, that is correct. I am aware of like some other like WooCommerce Gravity Forms like integrations through WooCommerce. So, but I haven't used those specifically myself. But yeah, if you're selling with Woo and you want to, have the forms inside the courses and stuff like that, you can absolutely do that. So Yemaine asks, he says he has the Universe bundle. They see the Ninja and WPForms add-ons. Are these forms part of the Universe bundle, or does he have to pay for them? Since you already have the Universe bundle, that means they're inside. You already have them. You got these new form add-ons, so you don't have to pay for them since they're included in both the Universe bundle and the Infinity bundle. So you can check your account there and check that out. Peter mentions in the chat that Gravity has the best integration with WP Fusion. So WP Fusion is a popular tool in the LifterLMS community for connecting your CRM or your email list service like ActiveCampaign to LifterLMS and WordPress. They also integrate with WooCommerce, page builders, and Gravity Forms. Awesome. Well, Peter's got his hand up. I'm going to take a look, see what Peter has to say. How's it going, Peter?
Hello.
How you doing? Yep.
I'm doing okay. Long time no speak. Anyway, the question I had was that, is it possible to use a form to add information that will be shown on the students or users page where they get information about or where their standard information is, whatever is collected, address, name, and etc. What I'm after is, I probably like to ask them the reasons why they are doing certain things, to write down a number of different things, like probably like 3-4 different fields with various things, and then have that so they see that on their user page.
Like their home dashboard?
Yes, and then be able to update that and see their progress, and basically notice what they have looked at, because what I'm going to use it for, a whole lot of what they will see as possibilities early on, they will be shocked if they look at that in a while after, because the way they see the world and opportunities will change dramatically. But just to get their focus on the thing and have that displayed there for them, and then that they can update it.
Yeah, challenge accepted. I don't think I could do that on this call, but I'm just wondering if that's possible out of the box, just with some configuration. I think probably. I can't say 100%, but like you mentioned, Gravity Forms there. And there's other Gravity tools like Gravity View, which displays Gravity Form data on the front end of the website, which could be potentially on their page or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I'm giving you a probably, but I haven't tested it myself, but it seems within the realm of possibility. So
the reason for the question is twofold. One, to find out if it's possible already, and then they probably would kick me for not having checked myself, but also so you don't start to add things that would cause problems with the way that Lifter or WordPress is set up.
Yeah.
So,
it's a reasonable request. It's
because I think it could be extremely valuable in a whole range of use cases. Because if people do not know what direction they are heading when they start, how will they know that they are getting even closer or reaching anywhere?
Yeah, it's a good.
That's kind of, considering I've been in elite sports and so forth. people that started without direction, they basically continued without direction, and then they were wondering why they were getting where they got to.
Yeah.
And it wasn't very far.
I will also add, there's also another user notes plugin that already exists that I've seen people using on some Lifter sites. That does what you're describing too. So
would that be displayed on the user page or student page, or?
It's more of like a little, it's like a little tab on the website that they can choose to open. And when they open it, they can take new notes or view their old notes.
That
So
could
it's
probably be useful, but it's also would be good if you kind of set timings where you can link that to the CRM, and that they will be reminded of certain things within certain time periods.
well, that's back to Gravity and WP.
Because you have a lot of tracking that you could have there to both support them, and basically if you have assistants following students, you could have them wondering, asking them if they make little progress, what they are missing.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, that's very good. So yeah, but that's back to Gravity and WPP, and it may. That all may be possible as is. It just needs to be tinkered with. So thanks for that.
Yeah. Excellent. Hopefully I hear from you.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
All righty. So do we have any more questions? I want to thank you guys for coming and checking out this demo of LifterLMS. Oh wait, well, hold on. We've got some winners. I almost forgot the winners. So Kathy, I've got my Slack open as we award the giveaway winners. So what you are winning, let me share my screen with you again. Allie, do we have the puppy up?
Yes, we do.
Cool. All right. So we have our two winners, and what you are winning is the Gravity, or not the Gravity, the Forms add-on of your choice. And if you already have it, you can apply that same value to something else. We'll send you a coupon. But the two winners are Carlos Torres and Lisa West. Congratulations on your winnings there. And last chance to ask me anything. And let me just check. If we have anything else. Thank you, John, for the kind words. Yep, Carlos and Lisa, the winners, please email lifter@team@lifterlms.com. Thank you for the kind words, Diane. I appreciate that. Yemaine, it sounds like you might be having hosting issues. I'd recommend submitting a support ticket. And if you have any questions, I'm going to see if I can max out my computer here. I'm going to turn the video on for a second. If you have any questions about the LifterLMS Forms add-ons, feel free to send us an email to team@lifterlms.com. And just to be clear, if you're going to use these tools, this is an integration, so you still need to have your own form plugin and license made by the company that makes those tools. And if you're going to want to customize the user registration, you will need to get whatever the user registration add-on they have for our integration to be able to kind of sync into that. So if you have any questions at all, you can send an email to team@lifterlms.com. and we'll be happy to take those. We also, on Thursdays, have a live call where we take pre-sales questions that you're welcome to join. So feel free to do that if you start researching the forms and then you have more questions. Thank you all very, very much for coming. And if you're going to move on this, these add-ons are on sale to the end of the week. And they're also part of the Universe or Infinity bundle. So thank you, everybody, for coming. And we will send out a replay of this if you want to go back and watch that demo section again. And I hope everybody has a great rest of your day. Bye, everyone.